Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about Guardian Druid, and it's going to be a PvE guide. So if you're going to tank and play as Guardian Druid and if you need some help with stats, rotation, talents, well, let's go through the talents, stats, rotation, so you can actually know what you're supposed to do. And of course this will be a simply guide how you play the spec, and it will just help you to move forward. And of course some of the things I would say you maybe don't like personally, but I'm just saying the facts, and you can always change your mind on what you think is best, but I will give you the main, you can say main construction of how you play Guardian Druid. So let's just dive directly into it and start with the stats. So your stats is very important, and for, you can say for Guardian Druids, of course the first thing you have to go for is eye level. So eye level on every item is the most important. In this expansion, I know in Legion it was not, but in this expansion eye level is the best thing, as it increases both your stats, your main stats, and the Azerite traits is also getting stronger depending on the eye level. So first of all, eye level. But beside that, armor, agility, stamina, all those three things, armor, agility, stamina, are the most important thing for you. So if you get a trinket where you can choose either armor, agility, stamina, those three is the main thing you always need to have. This expansion is built on your main stats and no more your, as you can see here, your enhancements, your secondary stats. It's always now your main stats. So armor, agility and stamina is your main core, and it's very important that you focus on it. So that should be pretty simple, that you should always go for your main stats. But what about secondary stats? And it's pretty fun because Guardian Druid as a secondary stats need mastery. And now you're thinking, mastery, what is mastery doing? It is actually giving you more health, and it also increases your attack power. So that means the more mastery you have, the more life you have, the more damage you can take, and that's perfect. And also the more damage you deal. So go for agility, go for stamina, go for armor, and then take mastery. So if you have the choice between an item with, you can say mastery or crit, always take mastery, because mastery gives you more health and it also increases the damage you deal. So that's pretty cool as a Guardian Druid, because you can actually be the tank with the most health, because you have this health bonus. So if you get a lot of the mastery of, 20-30%, you'll get an enormous life pool. It's so amazing. So that's pretty cool. So after mastery, so you can say, let's just take it again. Agility, armor, stamina is of course your three primary stats you always need to get most of. But your secondary stats, mastery, vitality, haste and crit. So now you're thinking, why should I actually go as secondary stats for vitality? Because this vitality is actually decreasing the damage you take, and it increases the damage and healing you're doing. So that means the healing you're doing from frenzied regeneration will actually be better the more vitality you have. So right now it heals me for 25% of my maximum health. Depending on my vitality I have, the more percent I have. So if I had 10 vitality, this healing will heal for 10% more. So that's not bad. So of course you want to have mastery as the first secondary stats for more life, vitality because it deals more, well, you decrease more damage on you deal more damage, and it makes your healing a lot better. And the next one is haste. So mastery, vitality, haste, and haste is pretty obvious because haste is increasing the damage you deal because of all your damage over time. You are having trash and also moonfire. So trash and moonfire will be your damage over time, and those will help you. So every time you get more haste, they will also deal more damage frequently. So let's say you had 20% haste and you're dealing damage over 10 seconds, then you can see the damage you will have normal dealt on 10 seconds, you will deal the same damage on 8 seconds because of 20% haste, if you just think about numbers theoretically. So and also haste decrease your global cooldown, so you'll be faster to spamming other spells. But again, haste is not the primary one, it's mastery, vitality that is the most important one for you. Critical strike is the you can say the one you don't want to have so much of, because crit is, of course, crit is good, but don't focus on crit. Mastery and haste is so much more important than crit, so crit should be the only thing you should get if it's really important. You should only take critical strike if it's because the item is higher eye level, because higher eye level is still more important. So that's the stats, and if you still didn't get it, you should just scroll back the video and you just hear it again. But let's take it again. Always primary stats: agility, stamina, and armor. Then mastery, haste, vitality, and critical strike. So should be pretty good. I mean, if you go through that stats, you will be good. And of course, eye level is important. So if you get an item that is high eye level and it doesn't have haste and mastery, bad luck, but you have to do it, because agility and stamina is still the most important thing for you. So let's go to the talents. So the talents is there's two kind of builds. There's one single target build and one, you can say, AoE trash mob build. So do you want to be able to kill a lot of, you can say, a lot of trash mobs in Mythic Plus dungeons very fast, or do you want to be better on single target damage? So you have to choose between, do you want to be the tank that deals most damage on trash mobs, or do you want to deal most damage on pure single target? For raid, I would go with single target, and in Mythic Plus I would probably go for trash mobs, because trash mobs are much worse than bosses in Mythics. It's funny, but they are much worse, the trash mobs in Mythic Plus, than the boss. So yeah. Okay, so let's go through the talents. So the first one here is Bristling Fury, that all the damage you take to you will generate rage for you. So this one here should take, this is the one, you could say this is actually the most important talent you take. I would always say this one here is the go-to talent. So no matter what situation, this one is really good, because it gives you more rage. And now you think, why is it so important for me to get rage? I mean, all my spells already can be used without rage. So what should I actually use rage for? Well, you're going to use rage on your self-healing. It costs 10 rage, and that's not a lot. But Iron Fury is the spell you have to keep up on you all the time, and also try to stack it, because you can actually stack it. Right now, if I use it, I will increase my armor by 2,800. If I use it one more time, it will increase my armor by 5,600. So you can see it's pretty good. It's actually really good. So if you want to make your healer happy, you're going to keep up Iron Fury almost all the time. So try to keep it up, stack it up if you want. You can also save it so you have 2 charges you can use, and boom boom, and you get high armor. So if you know, I'm not taking so much damage right now, but very soon I'm going to take a lot of damage, and then save the, you can say, the 90 rage, so you actually can use it 2 times, and you will increase, because it will stack, and that's perfect. And it also is on longer time, you can say, because it's 7 seconds plus 7 seconds, and it's increasing your armor by 2 times. So it's perfect. It's really perfect. But that was actually the rotation, you could say. But that was just to tell you why rage is important. So Bristling Fury should always be a go-to talent, but Blood Frenzy is actually the best one if you're going to kill a lot of trash mobs. So let's say if it's more than 3 trash mobs, trash also generates 2 rage each time it deals damage. So that means if it's more than 2 enemies, more than 3, sorry, and every time trash is dealing damage, you get, let's say if it's 3 targets, then you get 6 rage every time it deals damage. Does it say how often it deals damage? Actually no, it just deals damage every second, I guess, or something. I can see when I use it on a dummy. So on a lot of trash mobs, Blood Frenzy gives you most rage, but on, you can say 1 to 3 mobs, Bristling Fury is probably the best one. But Bristling Fury is a cooldown, and it only works for 8 seconds, so it's actually only in a period it's good. So when it's 1 to 3 targets, Bristling Fury is probably the best one. But every time it's more than 3, or you can actually also say from 3 to unlimited, Blood Frenzy is definitely the best one, because it's not a cooldown, it's a spell you can use all the time. But again, as I said, single target and trash mobs. So For me personally, well, yeah, again, Mythic Plus will probably be multiple targets, and single target will be in raids. The next one down here, I would always say just go with Wild Charge. You don't want this extra dash, because then you're going out of bear form into cat form, and you're not going to terrify your enemies and make them feel disrated. No. You're going to take Wild Charge because you want that extra charge. So you're like a warrior, you can now charge, and that's perfect. I mean, if the boss is running away or something, you can charge to them, and it's perfect. So the one down here is a bit tricky. So I guess a lot of people is actually thinking, Restoration Affinity is probably the best one, because then I get healing spells and I get a passive healing that heals me every 5 seconds. And that's wrong, because it only heals you for 1.5 of your health, maximum health, every 5th second. It's like, wow, it's not even healing you almost. You cannot feel it I mean, in a long-term fight, you cannot feel it at all. So I would never suggest going to Restoration Affinity, because you're not going to cast healing spells on yourself while you're in bear form. The best one I would always say is Balance Affinity, because it gives more range to all your spells. That means when you're pulling trash mobs and you use trash, it has 8-yard range. But if I have a Balanced Affinity, it will be 11-yard range, and that's actually quite a lot more. And now you can pull a much bigger group without having run more towards them, but you can just run in the middle of them, and you can take a pretty big group of enemies. Feral Affinity should only be used if you're going to be on a boss where you think, I'm not fast enough. I need more movement speed. I need to be able to run faster and go faster to some trash mobs or anything. Then I would say Feral Affinity is the one for you if you feel like you don't have enough movement speed. But Balance Affinity will be the go-to talents always for me, because it gives more, you can say, range. Feral Affinity will be the one if you want more movement speed. And Restoration Affinity, I would say, I would only go for Restoration Affinity if I'm going to a raid where I'm going to against a boss that doesn't really do anything, then just spam, tank and spank. So if it's only a boss that I'm just going to face in front of me, and he's just going to stand there and just only hit me, I will probably take Restoration Affinity, because it's a little passive healing. And I mean, the bonus movement speed, the range, is not going to help you if it's just a boss that is standing still and don't do anything else. But if it's a boss where you have to run around, because a lot of bosses create a lot of things on the ground, so you have to run around and maybe run into a maze or something, Feral Affinity is the best one. If it's a boss that generates a lot of trash mobs, a lot of blood boils on the earth, like in Uldir that will come, I will probably say Balance Affinity is the best one, because then you can use all your AoE spells and your normal spells with much more range, and that will help you to take all the adds to you. But again, if you're just going to stand in a corner with a boss just hitting you, Restoration Affinity will be the best one, because it still heals you a little bit, and your movement speed and Balance Affinity is not going to help you on a boss that just stand in the middle and you're just hitting him. So I hope I made it clear to which one you should check, but I think it's a very funny talent row, because it's very different on what you're doing, what you're going to do, boom, etc. The next one here, Mighty Bash is the go-to talent. It's a stun, so if anyone on the enemy trash mobs is casting a spell, you can interrupt them by stunning them. But Typhoon is also an excellent spell, because it only has almost a half cooldown of Mighty Bash, and it pushed the enemies so they stop also with casting spells. The problem with Typhoon is that it pushes the enemy, so if you push it in the wrong direction, you can actually push the enemy into another trash mob group. And if you pull 2 groups of Mythic Plus, Mythic trash mobs, you are in problem. So I would not do that. But Typhoon is really good if you can handle it and push it the right way, because it only has 30-second cooldown, and your stun has only 50-second cooldown. And Typhoon is actually pushing every mobs. So that means if you're against, let's say you're in Underrot, where 3 skeletons is casting a shield on themselves, then you use Typhoon, they get pushed, and they don't have a shield. So it's perfect. But remember, you're pushing them, so don't push them into another group and you will wipe. And everyone will hate you. The next one down here is, personally, Galactic Guardian is my favorite one. I love it. I love that every time I deal damage, all my damage over time has a chance to trigger a new Moonfire on the target. So if I have like 5 mobs on me and I use trash, sometimes you just see the Moonfire pium 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 pium. It's pretty cool. And when the Moonfire actually comes, you can use it. Your Moonfire will brighten up, and if you use it manually, use your own Moonfire, then it actually will deal 300% increased direct damage. And right now it's dealing 400, so that's 400 and multiplied with 3, so it's 400, 800, 1200, so that's 1200 direct damage. And your mangle is dealing, okay, it's dealing 3000 damage, so it'd be 3 times your mangle, but still it's still damage. It's still damage. And so Galactic Guardian is the best for trash mobs and a lot of mobs, or a cleave boss. It's, let's say, first boss in Warcraft Manor, Galactic Guardian is the best one. But for single target, pure single target, Solar Forest is the best one because it generates most rage, and it deals 20% more damage on mangle. So your mangle will generate more rage, and it increases damage to 25%. So single target, or you could say 2 bosses, or 2 mobs, I would say Solar Forest is the best one, but more than 2, so it's +3, Galactic Guardian is the best one. Remember, it only has a 5% chance to actually deal damage. You can say the passive of Galactic Guardian. That's not much, and when it happens, you can use your Moonfire and it will generate 8 rage. That's not enough, because Soul of the Forest is dealing, every time you use Mangle, it will actually give 5 more rage. And Mangle is ready every 5th second, so nah, single target Soul of the Forest or 2 mobs. Galactic Guardian is best on 3 enemies, because then you have 15% chance to trigger it. And if it's 5 mobs, I mean, it's even more. So yeah. Incarnation is only good if you really want to have a 30-second space where your abilities will be better. So Incarnation is only good if you really need it. Let's say there's a boss and he goes into a phase where for 20 seconds he's dealing really much damage, insane damage. Then Incarnation is good, but it only helps you 30 seconds, and then it has a 3-minute cooldown, and then everything is wasted. And Solar Forest is giving you so much rage again, so you can use Iron Fur that will give you more armor. So in total, I would say Soul of the Forest and Galactic Guardian is always best, because they give you more rage, and more rage is equal more Iron Fur, and more Iron Fur is equal more armor. So Incarnation is only if there's a boss that really will almost one-shot you on 10 seconds. I would only take it, but if not, I would never take it. Never take it. Yeah. And now you're probably thinking, why only that one? It's because, let me just read it for you. An improved bear form that reduces the cooldown on melee abilities and grow to 1.5 seconds, cause Mangle to hit up a free target, and increase armor by 15. You don't really care about, okay, of course you can deal more damage while you're in it, but it's not worth the rage. I mean, the other one is still increasing much more rage. And the only reason for you we would take this one here is for the increasing armor by 15%. And of course, your abilities will only have 1.5 second cooldown. That means you can generate more rage in that time, and you will be able to spam more Iron Fur. But again, only take it for situations where you really feel like you're dying and you need to have a safe cooldown. But else, I would say Soul of the Forest is best for 1 to 2 mobs, Galactic Guardian plus 3 mobs. Capiche. The next one down here is pretty simple. Guardian of Elune is actually the one that is the best, and you cannot argument for it's not the best, because Mangle increases the duration of your next Iron Fur by 2 seconds, or your healing from next frames of regeneration by 20. And as I said, Iron Fur is your main spell, and you always have to keep it up, because it increases your armor, and the healer will love you if you keep it up. So Guardian of Elune is helping me to get a 2-second additional on my Iron Fur. So instead of it's 7 seconds, it's 9 seconds, and that's perfect. So I would say Guardian Dvalin is always a go-to, and I will always take it no matter which situation. Survival of the fittest, not at all. It decreased the cooldown on, when you can say, Baskin and Survival Instinct, and I know Survival Instinct have 4-minute cooldown, so it will remove third part of it, and your Baskin has a 1.5 minute, but again, it's not that worth. It's a cooldown. You want to be good the all fight, and if you can keep up, if Guardian Dvalin is helping you to keep up Iron through all the fight, it's worth it, totally. Earth Warden is also a spell that is feared by some people. I mean, every time you deal damage with trash, when you deal direct damage with trash, you gain a charge of Earth Warden, reducing the damage of the next auto attack. You take up to 30%. Earth Warden may have up to 3 charges. This one here is very bad on single target because it's only giving you 1 stack. Of course, if you use trash again that has a 5-second cooldown, it will put a stack on again. But if you're playing against 3, let's say 3 mobs, or a boss with 3 mobs in it, and you use trash, you will get all the 3 stacks ASAP because it's hitting them all. So Earth Warden is good on a lot of mobs. Again, like I said, you have a single target build, a lot of mobs. So Earth Warden can be used on a lot of mobs. But again, Guardian Dvalin is so much better, I think, in every situation, because it makes your Aranfur to stay longer on you. So yeah, I would say always go Guardian Dvalin, but you can take Earth Warden if you want to be able to absorb, you can say, more auto attacks. Remember, it's only auto attacks, so it doesn't help you on any spell the boss is casting. Guardian Dvalin is increasing the duration of your Iron Foot and makes every armor on you better. Capiche? So while the first, okay, Lunar Beam is not good at all. Drop it. Just drop it. I mean, maybe on Mythic Plus, Mythic Plus, where you have to deal damage to a big trash mob, trash mob group, and you need some AoE damage that dealing damage to everyone, and maybe also a little self-healing. It can be quite okay, but how good Pulverize and Rend of Tear is, it's not worth at all. I would not say. I would only use it for PvP. So Rend of Tear, while in bear form, trash also increases damage dealt to the target and reduce the damage taken from the target by 2% per application of trash. This means when, okay, so you're using trash on a boss. He has 3 stacks of the trash as you can put on him. That means you will deal 6% more damage to him, and he will deal 6% less damage to you. That's nice. I mean, that's nice. It's a fine passive. It's a really good passive if you don't want an additional spell that you have to use in your rotation. It's the best one. If you just want to have the rotation you're having now and you don't want an additional rotation, then take it. It's good. It's really good. But Pulverize is so much better because when you have 3 stacks of trash on the enemy, you're going to use Pulverize, and only way when you have 3 stacks, because you don't want it to use it when you only have 2 stacks, because then it doesn't have a damage over time. And it's very important that you keep your damage over time on the trash mob or the boss, so you don't go down in damage. So every time you have 3 charges of trash on the target, you use Pulverize, it will deal 5,900 damage. That's a lot of damage. That's 2 times Mangle. So it's a lot. And reduce all damage you take for 9% for 20 seconds. And 9%. So Rend of Tear is only decreasing 6%, but Pulverize is decreasing you by 9%. And it's all damage. It's reducing all damage you take. Rend of Tear is only the enemies you actually have a trash on, but Pulverize is reducing all damage you take by 9% for 20 seconds. And I mean, for 20 seconds, it's so easy to get 3 new trash on up and use it again. So that means with Pulverize, you can have a buff on yourself that is decreasing all damage you take by 9% all the time. So I would say Pulverize for myself is my favorite one. I would always take it, no matter what. So Guardian Dvalin and Pulverize, I would take it no matter what. But if you really want to have it easier from a lot of trash mobs, you can take it off Rend of Tear, or if you just don't want an additional spell you have to use, Rend of Tear is the way for you. because it doesn't mix your rotation up, it doesn't do anything else, it's just a passive one. But Polarize is decreasing the damage by 3% more than Rind of Tyr, so I think it's that worth. So yeah, and it deals a lot of damage. So, but that's up to you. And of course, this one here deals increase, so all your damage deal is increased by 6%. But 6% is not much when you have this spell here you can use all the time that deals almost 6,000 damage. It's like, yeah, cool. That was the that was the stats and talents. I hope you're much clever now about Guardian Druid, which stat you need, and what. I love the face. Oh no, okay, he did do it. Now you know what stat you need, what talent is good for what, and that should already now help you a lot about how you actually play the spec. So now let's talk about the rotation for the Druid as a Guardian Druid. So the first thing of all is, of course, you want to go into bear form. After you're inside bear form, just to let you know, down here in the bottom of my spells, you can see it will show which spells I'm using. So if you get confused of which spells I'm saying I'm using, you can just look down here and see what I just used in rotations. So always, let's say, okay. So now I'm coming here and I want to tank that mob there. The first thing I would do, if let's say it's fine to just attack that one, first thing I would do is I would run and use my Moonfire. Because now I have the aggro on it, I have the first impact aggro, and it's mine. So I will use Moonfire on him. And if you have, let's say, Galactic Guardian, already now it's begin to actually can be triggered, because it have 5% chance to double trigger. But again, if you're using only against a single target, Solar Forest is the best one. So the first thing I would do is I will pull the mob, I will pull the tank with Moonfire. After that I will have, of course, to run up to him. If I don't want to run up to him, I can always just Moonfire and charge. So after the charge, it's very important now that you get up your other bleeding, your trash, mangle, because mangle and trash is actually the only spells you have that is generating, you can say, rage. So mangle and trash is very important that you use them all the time. And now if I take heavy damage, I have to use Iron Fur because it's increasing my armor. But if I don't take a lot of damage, you can see now I can use it again, and now it has 2 stacks, increased armor. And the thing is about when Iron Fur stacks, so let's say you use it one time, it has 7 seconds with 2000 armor. Then you use it one more time, 14 seconds with 5000 armor, or 4000, just make it easy. Then when it goes down to 7, the first stacks is falling off, and then it's back only to 2000. So just because you use it 2 times in a row, it will not give you 5000 or 4000 all the way. So it will still pump up. So you can see now I use Iron Fur. So now it has 5000. Actually all the way. Oh. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood that. I actually, because it's set 7 seconds, but if I use it multiple times, it will not. Okay, so the second will actually not stack. It's only the effect. Okay. Well, that makes it easier for us, because if I have, so if the boss is going to hit you very hard in 10 seconds, your deadly boss mod is saying very big spell incoming in 10 seconds. Well, then you know, okay, I have to save up 100 rage, so I can actually use 2 times Iron Fur, because then my armor will double increase. Right now I have 4000, and if I use 2 times Iron Fur, it will even more than double increase. So you can see here, now double Iron Fur. You can see my armor is now on 10,000. That means physical damage reduction by 61%, and against current target 85. So that's a lot of reduction damage against current target. Okay, never mind, ignore that. So, and default I have 41, but when I used the one it was 61, wasn't it? Let's get up to it again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 61. It's insane. It's really insane. 61 reduction. So yeah, but if you don't take, you can say, hard hits all the time, then every time you come up to, you can say every time you go up to the rage cap, use Iron Fear, and then now I have it on at 7 seconds, and my job now is actually to try to get it again before it jumps off, and my mission completed. I just got it done again, and your mission is just generate all the rage you can, use it again, because if you can keep it up all the time, your healer is going to love you. Oh no, it's I just made it. And as you can see right now, my Guardian of Elune is progging. That means next time I use my Iron Fear, it will be on for 2 extra seconds. So without Guardian of Elune, I will probably not be able to maintain Iron Fear up all the time. I will probably have a downtime on 1 or 2 seconds, but Guardian of Elune is making it easier for me, so I can actually have it up all the time. And also remember, in the first row you had the one called Bristling Fury, so every time you take damage you will actually generate more rage. So if you feel like, okay, big incoming of damage, use Bristling Fury, and then all damage you take will convert to rage. Of course you will also take damage, but it will also give you more rage, and that equal more Iron Fear. And of course you also have your Frenzied Heal, Frenzied Regeneration. And remember, if you need to heal yourself, use Mangle first, because then it will heal for 20% more. So you can see here, boom, and it's healing quite a lot. It's enormous healing. It's really good. It's really good, 25%, and you have 2 charges of it, so you can actually heal. What is it? 84. So that's half of your life. You can just instantly boom boom heal. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, that's good. So if I went to a boss, the first thing I would do, if I would cast Moonfire, probably charge it. I would probably use Bristling Fury to generate more rage. Pop up all my Iron Fury. Just use my default rotation. Just hold up Moonfire, hold up free trash. So that's what, and use Mangle every time you can, and use Iron Fury every time you can. So just every time you can use Iron Fury, out with it, because it's very important that you try to keep it up all the time. Keep up on your dots. So Moonfire and Trash needs to be up all the time. Just keep them up. And if you're talented, Polarize. Every time you get 3 trashes, as you can see I have now, use it, so it deals a lot of damage. And now for the 20 seconds I have all damage reduction by 9. That means default 41 plus 9, and if I use my 2 times Iron Fear, it's now 61% plus 9, that's 70 damage reduction. That means if a boss hits me for, let's say, 100,000, I will only get 30,000, because I have 70. It's insane. I really love Guardian Druid. It's so amazing. So, and if I'm going to play against a lot of mobs that I have to, you can see right now, I don't think I can actually, if I stand here in the middle. Okay, this one didn't get my bleeding on. But if I change it to Dvalin Affinity and use it now, it gets it. So Balance Affinity is helping you a lot with getting more trash mobs standing around. So now I can just use my spells and I hit them all, I hit them all, hit them all, hit them all. So really good, really good, really good. So again, keep in mind, every time you get 3 trash when you pro-rise, use it and you will get the amazing damage buff. And it's easy for you to get up on 3 trash again, because you can see already now I'm up on 2, use again, boom, polarize, and my buff is up again. And I can actually see, damn, it's stacking. So that means you can see right now. Okay, amazing, I can just, oh my god, I can just go to each of them. Damn, did you see that? Because of every of the mobs is having 3 stacks, I can actually just go polarize, 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 and you'll probably be the top damage meter. That's insane. Oh, it's good, it's good, it's good. So keep in mind, keep up your Iron Fear all the time, make your healer happy. Every time it has 3 free trash on it, use your polarize for the extra damage buff. Then your healer will probably even more love you. The sad thing is it doesn't generate any rage, but again, and remember, Soul Forest is dealing, your Mangle is dealing, generating more more rage. So you can use your Iron Fear even more. And remember also, because of Guardian of Elune, when you use Mangle, the next Iron Fear will be on for 8 seconds more. So it should be pretty straightforward. And again, also you have your Survival Instinct that reduces all damage you take by 50. If we use this one here, okay, so if I right now have damage reduction, okay, armor is only physical damage reduction. But what if I have 41 now and I use this one here? Is it, and I use Iron Fear, then I mean I cannot take damage? Gotta test that later. But just a little thing I didn't mention is, of course, you also has a interrupt. So if the enemy is going to cast a spell, interrupted. And you also have a speed, so you can use inside your bear form. And you also have Baskin, reduce all damage you take by 20, and preventing delay on your spell cast. I mean, you're not going to cast spells, but it's still a 20% debuff, and you can use it with Survival Instinct, and now you have 20% and 50%. Yeah, so you can see as a as a Guardian Druid, you have a lot, really many damage reductions. So if you just remember to use them and sometimes also help your healer with healing yourself, it's going to be a big help for your healer, and everyone will love you as the tank. So I think this guide is completed, and now you know the stats, the rotation, and talents. Just as a bonus, just a little bonus, just for you, only for you. We're going to go into the raid here, in the raid calendar. And here we can see we have a helmet for the raid set. It has an Azerite trait. Trash direct damage has a 50% chance to grant you 100 agility for 12 seconds. I mean, this is a pretty cool one because trash direct damage has a 50% chance. That means if you're playing against 2 mobs, it's almost 100%. It's pretty cool. It increases your agility and it stacks, so you can keep this up also in a boss fight, because trash is, I mean, you can use trash every 5 seconds. And then of course you have some defaults now in here. You can see falling below 40% health, increase your armor. When deal damage greater than 10% of your maximum health, gain avoidance and armor. So you can see you have some pretty great tanks in here that help you with tanking. The next one here has Bars can reduce all melee attacks against you for 600. It's okay. Taking damage has a chance to increase your maximum health by 8,000 for each enemy within 8 yards, up to 5 enemies. Oh, that's a lot of health. This one here will probably be my favorite one as a tank. If you get the chance to get free items with this one here, it stacks. So that means I will get a shield on 36k absorb. That's a lot of absorb. I mean, it's really much absorb. So if you get the chance to get free items of these, it's a nice 30k free absorb, and it refresh every 30 seconds. So it's good. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good. What do we have here? Maul deals 1000 additional damage and Maul reduces the cost of your next Iron Fear by 50 rage, staying up to 3 times. I actually forgot to tell you about Maul, because if you don't have to use Iron Fear or you don't have to use Frenzied Regeneration, Maul is a great spell for dealing extra damage. And that means, so let's say you're tanking a boss in raid and the main tank is not you and someone else is tanking right now, and you still have to wait for 30 seconds before getting aggro and damage. So instead of just wasting your rage on Iron Fear without not getting a use of it, use Maul to deal more damage. I don't know how I forgot to tell you about that. But I can see this one here is actually doing some Maul would be better to use. But again, Maul is costing the same as Iron Fear, and they want me to use 3 Mauls. I will probably not take this one here. Nah. Mangle extends the duration of your active Frenzied Regeneration by 1 second, and Frenzied Regeneration restore additional 1800 additional every second. Whoa! So if I first use Mangle and then Frenzied Regeneration, it will heal for 20% more. Then if I use Mangle again, when Frenzied Regeneration is on, it will actually be 1 second more on. I can see if you double this one here with Incarnation, so your Mangle only has 1.5 second cooldown, you can probably have Gory Regeneration on you all the time. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. Damn, some self-heal. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. So that was some of the Azerite traits. But again, Azerite traits are very new. People haven't really tested them in raids, so they don't really know what's good and so on. So don't think too much about Azerite traits. Just get your eye level up and think about that later. So this was almost this is now 40 minutes guide. I hope you enjoyed it, and well, click the like button if you enjoyed it and it helped you. Else I can just say thank you guys for watching. It was a pleasure to tell you about Guardian Druid. This is my longest video I ever made. So yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Like if the video if it helped you. And else I can just say thanks for watching. Thank you for watching. And I really appreciate your time here. So cheers. Cheers guys. And have fun and see you out there. See you in Battle Right.